Good morning, all of you. I welcome you all on behalf of Sant Tukaram National Model School in class 6th. Dear students, in this period, we are going to discuss a very important topic, that is the Gupta and the post-Gupta period. Before starting the session, I would like to tell you about what happened after the Mauryans. Very badly, a huge empire declined. But what happened after the Mauryans? Who ruled the part of the Mauryans and who ruled before the powerful Guptas? The period between the decline of the Kushanas and the rise of the Guptas is known as a dark age in the Indian history because that time no one could rule for a long period. Even the political stability was not there till the Guptas. So that's why that period is known as a dark age in the Indian history. A powerful empire established by the Kushanas in the north and the Satavahanas in the Deccan came to an end by the 3rd century. This would be done by the Guptas, and the Gupta age is considered as the golden age in the Indian history. The following points we are going to discuss in this period, and these are displayed here on your screen. Sources: political history of Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, Vikramaditya, Prayag, Prashasti. Dear students, sources. Sources means whatever the material is available, the ways are available. With the help of these sources, we can study about the Guptas and the post-Guptas. These are classified into 2 divisions: literary source and archaeological source, combinedly displayed here on your screen. And these are Allahabad pillar inscription, coins, temples, paintings, accounts of Fashion, work of the Kalidasa. These are the sources through which we can do the study of Gupta and the post-Guptas. Literary source. First one is here, literary source. Whatever the material is available in a literary form, that is called a literary source. Archaeological sources, these are called direct evidences. For example, buildings, monuments, coins, pots, jewelry, and the number of the objects included into the archaeological sources. About the literary sources, work of the Kalidasa, many plays written by Kalidasa, which is a great source for getting sufficient information about the Guptas and the post-Guptas. Second one, the accounts of Chinese pilgrims. For example, Fashion, even Husums. These are also the accounts, the records written by the Chinese pilgrims. About the archaeological sources, these are displayed here on your screen. Allahabad pillar inscription, Devgarh Vishnu temple, and very famous Nalanda University. Dear students, these are the examples of archaeological sources. In the first image, Allahabad pillar inscription, the second, Devgarh temple. About the literary source, Fa Hia. He was a Chinese pilgrim. He visited to the India. He visited to many places in the India. For example, Mathura, Kannauj, Kapilvastu, Kushinagar, Vaishali, Patliputra, Kashi, and many more things. He has shared his experience, what he has observed in our country. According to him, Magad was a rich place. It was a trading center, even it was a religious center, and most populous. The Patliputra was well developed. The people has wealth, even they led a simple life, and the many followers of the Buddhism. Images of the Hindu gods were seen on coins and the sculptures in this. Even the punishments were mild and were in the form of the fines, dues. This is a record by the account by one of the Chinese pilgrims. The next one, the accounts of and whatever the work, the compositions of Kalidasa. He was a great playwright in the India. Even he has composed the many things. For example, Meghdut, Kritu Samhar, Raghuvansh, even the Kumar Sambhava. Always he was describing about the love, nature, beauty, and it also gives the information about the government, the administration, and the society, whatever he has observed during the Buddha period. These are the examples of archaeological sources. These are the Allahabad pillar inscription. It is also called a Prayag Prashasti. Dear students, try to understand what is the meaning of Prashasti. Prashasti, its meaning is in praise of the victories, the administrations, the achievements of the rulers engraved on the pillar. It was composed by a poet in a Sanskrit language, and he was Hari Sen. He described the kingdom. Samudragupta first defeated the northern rulers and then headed for defeating southern rulers. He allowed the southern rulers to rule but took tribute from them. He did not annex all the territories. Many tribes surrendered their kingdoms to Samudragupta. After these victories, he performed the Ashwamedh Yajnas and issued the gold coins depicting sacrificial horses. Even he was always interested in listening to music, for example, Veena. These are the work, whatever a beautiful work, designs engraved on the Allahabad pillar inscriptions. Very important, the next archaeological source which tells us about their architectural interest. That is the Devgad Vishnu temple. It is one of the earliest Hindu temple. It is made up of the stones and the bricks. At the entrance, many paintings and the decoration images of the Lord Krishna, Ramayana are there engraved on the walls. This is one of the very important source, Devgad temple. We can see, we can imagine about their architectural skill, very strong and very attractive, very massive. The oldest one, Nalanda University. Dear students, many students from the different corners of the world, they were gathering there for the study purpose. And it was very tough to take admission in a Nalanda University. Many very important subjects were teaching from the Nalanda University. For example, medicine, yoga, mathematics, science, and astronomy. It was in a Bihar. Huge library was there. And the many students, they were studying very nicely. It was described by the Muslim ruler, and his name was Khilji. See, not only from the India, but also from the different corners of the world, peoples were gathering there for study purpose. So it is a very important source, archaeological source, through which we can get the information about the Gupta. About the reign of the Guptas. The three very important Gupta rulers, Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, and Vikramaditya or Chandragupta II. Chandragupta I. The founder of the Gupta dynasty was Sri Gupta. Chandragupta I, he was the first Gupta king who assumed the title Maharaja Dhiraj. Maharaja Dhiraj, its meaning is that king of kings. When he came to the throne, Magad was the only territory he ruled. But soon after he became ruler, he married with the Licchavis princess, Kumara Devi. The name of the Licchavis princess was Kumara Devi. With the help of the Licchavis, he was able to extract his empire over the region of the Ayodhya, Prayag, Allahabad, and Maghal. The influence of his wife, Kumara Devi, is clear from the fact that her name is inscribed on the coins, Kumara Devi Dilichavi. His other notable achievement was the start of the Gupta era. The first year was began on 26th of February 320 CE. This is all about the Chandragupta first. He was known as Maharaja Dhiraj, is king of the kings. Very strong, very brave. He was. The second one, Samudragupta. He was also known as Napoleon of India, or Indian Napoleon, because of his many conquests. Samudragupta, the Napoleon of India. He was always interested in music and art. We can say he is a great lover of music and art. A Prayag Prashasti, which is composed by Hari Sen, he has described about the Samudragupta. He has not only mentioned about the administration, ruling, and his accounts or whatever the councils, his decisions, but he has mentioned about his ancestors, grandparents. The last very important Gupta, Vikramaditya or Chandragupta II. He was a son of Samudragupta. He was known as the Vikramaditya. He has defeated to many kingdoms. For example, he has defeated to Shakas and took a control part of their empire. Even he was a patron of art and literature. This is all about resources. There are two types of resources: literary source, archaeological source. There are the many accounts included in the literary source. For example, works of the Kalidasa, accounts of the Chinese pilgrims, and the second one, the archaeological source. For example, buildings, temples, coins, and paintings. Even pots, jewelries, these are also included in the archaeological sources. And we have studied here about the Guptas, Chandragupta I, Samudragupta, and Chandragupta II or Vikramaditya. The remaining points we will see in the next session. Thank you so much.